up a dive. Feel the vibe, get ready to ignite. Untold stories in the airways, flying through the night. Experience voices, tales so bold. Streaming live, the truth unfolds. Untold Radio Network, where secrets come alive. New episodes daily, the mysteries thrive. Great guests, super chat, so I remember I share and subscribe. Join the side where truth can't hide. Aliens in the attic, UFOs in the sky. Cryptids lurking, oh my, oh my. Ghosts in the hallway, whispering your name. The paranormal, the unexplained. Become a VIP, get the inside scoop. Unlock the mysteries, be part of the group. Live streaming stories, they're talking to you. Super chats buzzing, join the crew. Untold Radio Network, where secrets come alive. New episodes daily, the mysteries thrive. Great guests, super chat, it's a wild member ride. Share and subscribe, join the side where truth can hide. So if you've got the guts and you want to explore, tune into the Untold, it's what you're looking for. From aliens to ghosts and all that's unseen. Untold Radio Network, where the world's mysteries convene.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Paranormal Spectrum. We are live here today on the Untold Radio Network. I am your host, Barnaby Jones of Cryptids, Anomalies, and the Paranormal Society. Good morning, Lee. Welcome to the show as well. And Lee, it is our 47th episode today. We are 3 weeks out from the 50th episode, but thanks for playing. We do have a really cool 50th episode coming up here. It's going to be a panel of mediums and psychics that are going to be answering your burning questions. It's going to be a really cool panel style show. So looking forward to that. That is going to be on April 4th. So there you go, Lee. That's our 50th. And it's also the 100th episode that week of my Monday show, Monsters on the Edge. So there you go. 150 are in the same week in 3 weeks out. If you guys want to come hang out with the Caps team in person, we are going to be in Eau Claire, Wisconsin at Midwest Meta Paracon, April 11th through the 13th. It's a big 3-day weekend full of all kinds of stuff from paranormal investigations, VIP dinners, and speakers, and a ton of vendors. It's going to be a great time over in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Head on over and check that out at Midwest Meta Paracon.com. And then, guys, we head to Appleton, Wisconsin for Cryptids, Anomalies, and the Paranormal Convention. It is Saturday, May 10th, and it will be the 9th through the 11th. But the 9th is actually all sold out. Our VIP dinner and Bigfoot hike is now sold out on Friday. But Saturday, you can come out and check out over 30 vendors, plus all of our guest speakers. And you get to come out and do a psychic gallery reading with Angela Zabel, as well as the premiere of the brand new documentary the Wisconsin Bigfoot, the hairy man of Dairyland. Check it out.
Right here in the road, and it was right on the line, standing right there.
Whatever it was breaking trees, breaking branches, and I've never heard that before.
And from the basement door, I was like, Louie, I'm pretty sure there's a footprint out here.
And that's when the rocks started coming out of this tree line.
All I seen was hair. And it was like arched over right here.
And then out of nowhere we hear this loud, like earth-shaking grunt.
It rolled its shoulder and grabbed the ground and pulled itself towards my vehicle.
And I heard a plunk, and I come over here, and that squash was laying about right there in the middle of my garden, you know.
How do you walk in that in bare feet at 30-degree temperature?
Did you see that?
What was that? I saw something dark in the light from the right to the left.
It was big.
Could be the little Bigfoot.
If you guys can't make it out in person, no matter where you are or when you are, you guys can check out the virtual tickets and live stream all of our speakers from that day, as well as the brand new documentary that will be premiered there. That is just $5. Head on over to wisconsincaps.com and click on the CapCon link for all the details. Then, guys, we head down to Chicago for June 7th, the Chicago Paranormal Convention in Countryside, Illinois. And then in September, I will be at SilCon in Gaze, Illinois. And that's what we got coming up. There's also a bunch of library presentations coming up as well. You can head on over to wisconsincaps.com, click on the public events tab, and get all the information. We want to thank Joanne for being a brand new member of the Super Chats here on the Untold Radio Network. I don't know who was there first, but there's also Joanne. And if you guys want to become a Super Chats member and get all kinds of cool stuff, here's how.
Hey, Untold Radio Network fans. Want exclusive perks and to support our channel? Introducing our YouTube membership program with 3 amazing levels. Get loyalty badges that level up to different cryptids the longer you're a supporter. How cool is that? You'll also get access to custom Bigfoot emojis and priority in chat. Upgrade to Backstage Pass for exclusive wallpapers, photos, status updates, discounted books, and merchandise. Go all in with the producer level for everything mentioned plus member shoutouts. Ready for an enhanced experience? Join now, pick your membership level, and let's make this journey even more exciting together.
Guys, we are live here today, as I said. So if you have any questions, comments, or stories throughout the show, please throw them in the comments section. We'll get to them as soon as possible. Today, we have one of the hosts of Darkwoods Paranormal. They are also a sponsor of the Cryptids, Anomalies, and Paranormal Convention. The podcast delves into the eerie and unexplained with a mix of short fiction stories as well as firsthand accounts from those who have lived them, exploring everything from ghosts to UFOs and all things mysterious. They bring you spine-chilling tales from around the globe. And now, please welcome to the show, Raven Knight. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. Pleasure is mine. So, tell us all about your podcast.
Well, sure. So we actually, I'll actually start with kind of what brought us to doing this together. I actually used to have a true crime podcast with a couple of friends, and actually met my co-host who wanted to start a podcast. He's had a ton of experiences. Gabriel Von Graves is his name, but he's had a ton of experiences in paranormal since he was a child, actually. So it's always been something he's been passionate about. So with his passion and my podcast knowledge, we kind of came together and decided we were gonna try to do this. So that's kind of how we had a plan, we had an idea, And we took this podcast to Eureka Springs, Arkansas in October last year. So Eureka Springs, which I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's amazing. We love that place. You should go there. I highly recommend it. Just a beautiful town for one, but it's also a town that's full of mystery. It's a town that has a lot of, like, the Crescent Hotel, one of the most haunted hotels ever, is in Eureka Springs. And so we went there. They do an annual zombie crawl. It's not a pub crawl. It is literally about 2,000 people. I want to say, I don't know. I mean, I didn't count, but by the end of the day, by when they're going to do this giant parade, the town is full. And it's a small town. So, I mean, it's full. But everyone is out and they're excited and watching this parade of zombies because most of the town dresses up like zombies and does this giant parade, which is incredible because I've always been a zombie person myself. So for me, I'm like, yes, this is amazing. Yeah. So we went and we launched our podcast. We went as vendors and launched our podcast that day. We had 5 episodes under our belt, and we went out and we've been out ever since. So we've kind of taken off, but we talk from everything. Like I said, we're like you said in our description, everything from ghosts to conspiracy theories to UFOs to cryptids. I love cryptids myself. Still working on some of the bigger ones, but things like the Beast of Bray Road, which when I was a kid, I heard about that story all the time, to the Ozark Howler. So we cover pretty much everything right now. We even have actually our most popular episode right now was the Mandela effect, which doesn't surprise me. But yeah, so we cover everything. We're also adding more and more interviews. So this month we're booked. I am booked solid with interviews this month, which is exciting. But yeah, so everything paranormal.
Very cool. So we have a lot of things to cover here.
Yes, we do.
Lee would like to know right off the bat, is Raven Knight your real name? If so, your parents are the coolest parents.
I wish my parents. Well, wait, I shouldn't say. I was gonna say I wish my parents named me that. They're pretty cool. My parents are pretty cool, sure, but no, that is a pseudonym. Pseudonym.
Yeah, stage name, pseudonym.
Yeah, it's my stage name. But thank you for the question.
Very cool. I think I've met some people named Raven though, so
I have too.
There are people out there, so
yeah.
Very cool. All right, there we go. All right, we're all caught up over there. Leah's our biggest fan, and my backstage she fact checks and researches while the show is running. So
okay,
Leah's very in the comments there. So all right, moving right along here. So you get well, let's start with Mandela because we've latched onto this now here, and we're going to go with that direction.
Oh boy,
this is a fact finder. See, Lee has words for me. Mandela effect is a whole ball of wax right there.
It is.
I don't know what to actually think of it. I've done a lot of research into it myself, and there are some that really hit me hard. My ex-wife used to collect the Pillsbury Doughboy.
Okay.
And one of the Mandela effects is the Pillsbury Doughboy's neckerchief is white. And I have seen way too many of that little plump bugger, and it's supposed to be blue.
I was going to say, I'm thinking it's blue. Is
it
blue?
100%. Yeah. See, there you go.
See?
Lee's on top of that already. Yeah. So the neckerchief is supposed to be white, but people remember it being blue.
It's blue.
And like I said, I have seen way too many of that thing. It was always blue. That one bothered me. And your heart, when you pledge allegiance to the flag, or you put your hand on your heart, it's always over your left breast, right?
Mm-hmm.
And your heart on all the medical charts now is directly in the middle of your body.
You're throwing me here. You're
Yeah.
throwing me.
Did you not research all the Mandela?
Well, so I will say the way that we run this podcast. So my co-host will come up with something that he really wants to cover, and I'll come up with something that I want to cover, and so we take turns, right? So his was the Mandela effect, but it was the funniest part is when he called me. He called me on the phone, and he's like, "Okay, we're talking a little bit about Mandela effect," and of course, the biggest one for me, or that really sits with me, is the Berenstein versus Bernstein or Bernstein, the spelling of that one. I'm like, no, that's not right. The way they have it now is not right. I remember it's Berenstein Bears. Like, it's not Berenstain Bears. I just remember it that, but we kept doing this back and forth on the phone, and we're apparently from the same place because we kept, saying, wait a minute, or, like, that's not right. One of the other ones was, well, maybe, and do you remember the We Are the Champions song by Queen?
Mm-hmm. Of the world at the end?
Uh-huh.
Oh, you're not going to get me on many of these because I know, like, when I say I've deep dived into things, I have gone through almost every Mandela effect. Yeah. So.
Been down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
But I remember it being at the end of the song.
Correct.
And then, so yeah, things like that.
So with that one, supposedly there's a live version of it, and that one has it as of the world, but the regular record album version or whatever didn't.
Yeah, that's what the explanation was, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
The Bears never really got to me. See, I don't remember reading them as a kid, or the Berenstein Bears. That was that's always like that, and Mandela itself, Nelson Mandela, and see that one I don't know either. Who is it? Richard Simmons has died a few times.
I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember him passing away quite a while ago, and my mom used to watch Richard Simmons and do the workout videos and stuff. So she knows him. So no, he didn't die. I'm like, pretty sure he did, and he just re-died this past week. And
I was thinking the same thing. I thought he died already.
Oh, yeah, he died quite a few years ago because it was a big deal, and they said, all this stuff, because he's got a lot of Mandela effects about did he wear a sweatband or different things like that. But then he passed away. And then recently, not recently, maybe the last year, but then he passed away again, and it was this big thing. I'm like, pretty sure he was already dead, but.
See? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we have, we have a lot of speculations in that episode as well. I mean, what it could be. So was it CERN? Are we in a different, floating through different universes, or, is the veil coming thin at some point? Something like that, which could explain some other things as well. So
yeah,
we also touch on that in another episode, which would be our aliens and ghosts, the same thing. We have that's another one of Gabriel's episodes, but there's a whole thing about whether, maybe there's just a thin veil between spaces, and maybe that's part of it. Or deja vu. We could get into a whole thing here, but it's very interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. What do you think is the reason that we have the Mandela effects?
Part of me does wonder if they were. I'm going to go back to CERN. Maybe they were messing with something that they shouldn't have been messing with, and now we're all remembering different things because of it. Because some of us are from I hate to say, it sounds a little cray-cray, right? But maybe we're from a different universe or a different space. And then some people are still in that space where the rest of us are like, wait, but I remember it this way. When I was a kid, this is how it was, that's kind of my thought, but who knows?
I don't know. I've taken a look at CERN and stuff as well, and there's a lot going on there. I mean, there's more experiments than what you think is going on, and it's not necessarily that they're hiding anything. It's just that the average person doesn't realize what they're actually experimenting on and looking for. So when you actually look into their research and stuff, there's a lot of things that are potentially problems of, creating black holes and sucking the entire universe into it and all that stuff that they could be doing. And yeah, but I don't know. I think I was going to go somewhere with this and now I lost it. Oh, there's a book, Lee, that is about history, and this guy rewrites it. Like, the government says, okay, this fact is completely wrong, and we're going to rewrite all of history based on this. So this guy's job is he sits in this room with a bunch of other people, and they take typewriters and they literally rewrite history books so that they're edit that out. It's 19 something. It's a year is the name of the book.
That sounds familiar, though. I feel like I've heard of this story.
But it's very interesting that, like Wikipedia, you want to change history, you just go in there and edit it, and this is the whole premise of the book, is rewriting these stories. And there's the theory that they think the government is literally rewriting history to see how much stuff they can get away with.
Mm-hmm. So actually, my co-host, I think,
1984,
stands on that theory as well. Is
1984.
But yeah, that's where he lands as well. Is that he wonders if maybe that's what it is. They're just testing us to see how much we're actually paying attention, to certain things. Because if we're not paying attention, then they can get away with more.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
There was actually we didn't touch on this one yet, but the whole Fruit of the Loom logo that never had a cornucopia.
Yes.
Which clearly I remember it did.
It did.
And now supposedly there's a woman who found a shirt in her closet with the cornucopia logo.
Yes, I've heard that.
So
it did have the cornucopia. So I know that we're from
100%.
the same timeline, you and I, for sure. Yeah. And my co-host. We're all in the same timeline. So I love that for us.
There's so many people, like, it seems stupid saying this stuff, because, we're all the same way and everything. Mm-hmm. And there's people out there that 100% remember, no, it never had that. This never happened. And it really makes you wonder, like, are you the reptilians? Are you, what's wrong with you? Because you're not from here. Something is wrong. Or these are the invaders from another planet that have body snatchers, right?
Oh, yes.
So they don't remember the history. There you go.
That's probably it. I was thinking of an X-Files episode, actually, as you were saying that, where like the aliens in X-Files, they come down, they have human form, they act like humans, but they're not. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's it.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Absolutely. If you're watching out there, tell us, what is your Mandela effect? Because Lee says that she had a cornucopia as well. So, and it was blue in her dimension. So the Pillsbury Doughboy. So. We're all Lee's with us. Lee's
all right.
So.
I love that.
That's good. Yeah. Okay. So moving on. You said the ghosts and the aliens being the same thing.
Yes.
Now that is an interesting theory. Where do you stand on that? What was your show on that about?
So again, this was one of Gabriel's episodes, but it really the idea was that maybe whatever it is the same thing. So we don't know what aliens are, right? Mm-hmm. We don't know what spirits are. Could they be the same? The veil itself could be so thin that we think we're seeing a ghost when really it might be something else from another dimension. We're a universe, right? So it was something that he came up with, or maybe a theory that he did some research on, and there's apparently, like a whole theory about this being a possibility. Could it just be one and the same? Yeah. It's an episode you'll have to listen to.
Yeah, apparently.
He did. Yeah.
I've never heard of the theory of ghosts and aliens together. I've heard
I hadn't either. So that was a very interesting, but at the end of the episode, he brings it around. So it's like, that actually makes some sense.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I will have to go seek that one out. But yeah, I've heard, I mean, like we talk on my show all the time about how like the Fey creatures and aliens, Bigfoot encounters, these things all kind of have very similar tropes where you wonder, you know, are the Fae really just aliens? You know, and you're slapping a name on something. You know, like if you just look at, you know, Bigfoot across the country, you have the hairy man, you have the grass man, you have the skunk ape, you have all these names that were very colloquial to where they were in the United States, and they all are the same creature. And you can look at this around the world and they're all the same creature, but they're, because you didn't have the internet, you weren't as connected back in the day and stuff, they didn't know, oh, that's a Bigfoot. You know, we're seeing a Bigfoot, we're seeing this creature, we're going to name it for what it is. And it's usually named after the town or, you know, river, or wherever it's seen. But interesting. Have anything to add to that? Looked like you were going to say something. So.
Well, I was, you know, that's actually, I was actually thinking about the documentary you guys are putting out. That looks really good. I have to check that out. But no, that, I mean, that's a fair point, right? Like people couldn't communicate the way that they can now. And yes, or like if you think the Yeti, same thing. Like there's just different names for the same things. And who's to say that, you know, what we think are spirits could just be somebody else, like something else visiting us, something else, or again, like something else existing at the exact same place as us, except for it's in a different dimension, right? So could it be that, you know, you're in a house and something's happening, but you're not being visited by a spirit, but an alien? I don't know, but it's a very interesting theory, and he does take you on a little bit of a ride, and that's in that episode. So.
Interesting. That definitely has a little bit of a link there, at least, because, you know, with the Skinwalker Ranch stuff and the hitchhiker effect that we've talked about before on the show here, you know, if you're bringing home this stuff and you're becoming more and more susceptible to it, these alien or UFO stuff with the hitchhiker effect manifests more as a spiritual or a spirit manifestation of some sort.
Yeah. And there was a thing that he does mention in the episode itself where people who have had abduction experiences or have claimed to be abducted by aliens then later have paranormal things happen after their abductions. So, I mean, there is a possibility of a tie in there somewhere, you know, and you bring up Skinwalker Ranch. As much as I remember about Skinwalker Ranch, I believe that correlated as well. So who knows? I mean, again, we don't know what's out there. We don't, you know, we're only speculating about all of these things, but it is very interesting if you take those cases of people being abducted and then having experiences. How are those two tied together then? I do want to say, like, you just said something that made me think of another theory that I have that is actually going to go into like more of the spirit world, but I have this theory that people who have had encounters or who are more open maybe to having encounters with spirits or ghosts, that they are then more susceptible to have more experiences. It's almost like spirits either know or can sense that you can hear them, and then they make themselves more, known to you or aware of their presence. Or it's also just, if you have a skeptic, like a skeptic's not going to be open to it. They're going to just dismiss everything. Where like, if you are open, of course, you might have a little bit more experiences in that. So.
Absolutely. I find that very similar to what you said is that when someone has an experience, it's this earth-shattering, mind-blowing thing that they're like, oh my gosh, if that's real, what else is out there? Right. And by opening up that door, your brain gets rewired in that way that, you know, all these things that we're told from a young age that aren't real, your imaginary friends, the aliens, the monster under your bed, all that stuff that isn't real. Well, if this happened, what else could happen? And now you're able to start to see and question things, and you're more and more open to these things. That's why, you know, everyone says that people are crazy or something because they say, well, I saw a Bigfoot and then I saw a UFO and then I had these paranormal experiences. Well, that person's crazy. Well, one of those started it. And as it snowballed on, you've had these other experiences because now you're able to see that. You're able to be open to that. And as you said, with anybody that we've encountered that has abilities, psychic, medium, empath, what have you, the spirit world can tell that. And they're going to seek out these people like a beacon of light because they're like, you can see me, you can hear me. And if you can do that, I have a problem, I have a question, I have what have you. And they seek these people out to convey and speak through them.
That is, I 100% believe that. I've talked a little bit about, my co-host Gabriel. He's had a lot of experiences since he was a child, and so, and even now, like he's very sensitive to things. So he picks up on things a lot. And I actually, even the other day, I said, I wonder if you are just a magnet because they know that you can hear them, or they know that you are aware of them. So that's why you have more experiences, is because when you enter a space, they know. And so you are just a magnet to the spirit world.
We have that on certain occasions when people call our team in. We have Ellie Weisensell on our team, who is she gets rid of all the bad stuff. She cleans the houses and stuff like that. And whenever we schedule that, things get very ticked off at those houses because they know she's coming. And then they hide when she gets there. So it is very clear, very evident that these things do know when you're coming, That's another very interesting point, because if they know, then you have to subscribe to the theory of this like Akashic record, and that everything knows everything and all the information's out in the universe, why the whole topic of like remote viewing and things of that nature fall into this, because you can tap into this layer of all the information in the universe.
Yeah. Kind of wild when you think about it that way, isn't it?
One thing is just rolling into the next here, so we're rolling right along here.
Yes, they're all a little connected.
Lee says as well, your vibrations rose, and now you can see things at a higher vibrational level, and we get that a lot as well. Like when you have these experiences, like for the aliens or what have you, it seems like these people are vibrating at that higher level, your higher consciousness and stuff. And that's where you're, like I said, you're more, once you've had that one experience, it just keeps elevating up there. And this is why you become more and more open to that.
I was actually, you had said something earlier too about like empaths, and that makes me think of like, empaths are so in tune to what's going on around and have to like constantly, I say this as an empath myself, but like constantly be paying attention to people's emotions and feelings. And I think that also helps open that door too, because now you're just constantly aware of what's going on around you, and something's weird over here, you're going to feel it more, so. Yeah.
It's very interesting how emotions and energy can impact the world around you.
Oh, for sure.
And so like being an empath and stuff, you can, if somebody around you's having a bad day, I'm sure you have a very bad day. If somebody around you,
it's so hard to shut it off. It is so hard to, because you want to shut it off. You're like, some days like, oh, just do your thing over there. I don't want anything to do with your mood. But I have teenagers. I have teenagers at home, so it's like, oh, can you just not have a mood today? I read into that. But yeah.
I hope you don't work retail or anything.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Never again. Never again.
Yep. That's a scary place.
It is a scary place. It's almost scarier than a haunted house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, actually, it is. I think I'd rather go investigate houses that, actually, I know I'd rather investigate houses that are haunted than work retail again. So
that's right. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I've had quite a bit of experience with that. One of my coworkers at my last job was very empathic, and he would just come over halfway through the day and be like, "What's wrong? Because you're giving off these vibes, and I'm having a bad day, so we need to talk about this." But why? Yeah, so we've had many experiences on that level. So interesting. Yes. So, let's see. Where do we want to go now? I like this. It has absolutely nothing to do with anything. Ellie has wintergreen lifesaver, and I never hide from her. I seek her out. Ellie does the conventions and stuff with us, and she brings lifesavers, and
Nice.
Lee attacks her lifesavers apparently. So
I'll have to find her if I need some.
Lee, where's all your friends today? You're the only one over here. We got other people watching. Nobody else in the comments has any
questions?
Mandela effects or anything. Lee is just dominating over here. No octopus with no friends today, and Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot, and all those guys must not be up yet. Anyway, it's always interesting having live shows because you get more comments. Anyway, so you all the stuff that we've kind of talked about so far is your co-hosts' thoughts and stuff. So what shows have you brought forward?
Well, like I said, I actually did the Beast of Bray Road,
Okay. Yep.
and the Ozark Howler. Those are like more of my cryptid ones. I just actually released an episode yesterday morning about the Villisca axe murders. Do you know how hard it was to say that word? It was so hard to I was happy it wasn't live. To record an episode and say Villisca, I had to keep checking how to say that. But like I had said before, I'm very much into true crime. So combining the true crime and the paranormal was fun for me. I really enjoy more of those types of stories. I'm more into like cryptid and haunted places, haunted locations. So those are a little bit more of my vibe versus, well, I do love a good conspiracy theory, but I do love a good conspiracy theory. But yeah, those are more it for me. But I was actually, even at the end of the Villisca axe murder house, I was like, we every time, and we've been on the road a lot, and we're actually planning to do a lot more this year, which we can talk about too. But every time I'm like, let's go to that house. I want to go to that house so bad and do an investigation there, because I mean, everything that I've seen, the people have been there who have investigated it have had so many experiences that I'm like, I really want to check it out. Yeah, that's
where is that? I want to say it's out in California, isn't it?
It's in Iowa.
Oh, that's close.
Yeah.
Right next door. Yeah.
But yeah, we are doing a little bit more on the investigative side too, or like going and checking places out. So that one is definitely on my bucket list to go and see. We are going to be doing Broadhead Manor eventually here. I did set something up with Bill. So Bill's the owner of the Broadhead Manor. Check that out. Like I said, I told you before we got on here, we really want to go check out that penitentiary in Jefferson City, Missouri, which it's very doable. So we're working with another, actually our good friends, Chumming with the Spirits. It was another podcast, but we're working with them, and hopefully we'll be able to go out there and do a investigation with them. So we're doing that, as well as, I mean, like I said, we're doing a lot of traveling. So we're hitting up not all the conventions, but as many as we can in the next couple of months. We did just get back from Missouri Paracon, which was so much fun. Missouri Paracon was the first of its kind in a casino, which we didn't gamble at all, surprisingly. We were there, and we got to meet some wonderful people and hang out with some great people in the paranormal field, such as Dustin Perry, who's actually going to be on our show next. Well, I'm interviewing him next week, but he'll be out whenever I get that episode out. We don't do lives, so I get to edit. But yes, Dustin Perry, and then we get to meet Dave and Steve from the original Ghost Hunters as well, and Richard Estes, who is the author of the Fox Hollow Murders, which he'll also be on our show at some point here. But we were able to meet so many wonderful people in the field. So I mean, we've been besides doing podcast episodes, we're out at conventions and trying to do some investigations. And yeah, we're kind of all over the place right now, but finding our footing, I guess you could say.
Absolutely. Now we got some more comments over here. Anne is in the comments, but we're going to stick on paranormal. We'll come back to this one a little bit here. But so where have you gone so far to actually do investigations?
Well, we actually just last weekend we were at a bar in Barron, Wisconsin, Skippy's Bar, and we went to do a lot. And yeah, I can tell you all about this investigation. It's interesting. We had to wait till bar closed, so we were there at 2 a.m, which is an interesting time to show up, of course. So 2 a.m, we had our REM pod, we had EMF detectors, we had camera, like we had all of our equipment ready to go. The only thing was, it was the owners of the bar. They had a couple bartenders who have had experiences there as well. So we didn't get as much as we were hoping, just because I think there were maybe far too many people, and it's a very small bar. It's not a lot of space in that bar. So, we started the investigation, and we had the REM pod, which was sitting on the bar. One of the theories, you could say. Now, they already thought that the bar was haunted before, with maybe 2 spirits, but there was a patron of the bar who would come in every single day, and he'd sit at the bar, and he would talk to the bartender who worked there at the time, who I actually interviewed, and have that interviews up on our page as well. But he was saying that this man, his name was Jack, very wonderful guy, but definitely a skeptic of the paranormal, did not believe the bar was haunted. And Luke, who was the bartender, kept going, oh yes, no, this bar's haunted. Like, this bar, there are things that happen. And then sometimes things would happen, and he'd look at Jack, and Jack would look at him, and Jack would be like, I don't know. And Luke would be like, yeah, there's something weird. And so Jack was a definite skeptic until maybe what Luke made it sound like was maybe later on, maybe he might have changed his mind. But when Jack died, they took his ashes, and his ashes are actually still in the bar. They're behind the bar. So the thought was, so we put the REM pod on the bar where Jack used to frequent, give him a Liney's beer, because that was his favorite, and try to see if we could communicate with him, right? When we weren't getting anything, nothing was really happening. Our EMF detectors were going off a lot, but that didn't really mean that it was anything paranormal. It was just like, well, there could just be something weird in this building, right? We're kind of just not even paying much attention to that. We have the REM pod there, nothing's happening, and I'm the only one near the bar. And then all of a sudden, the other people start walking in from the other room, which was like the game room. So they start walking in, and as soon as the owner of the bar, her name's Chelsea, soon as she walks in, the REM pod goes off. It goes crazy. It hadn't done anything before this. And that's very interesting, okay. So then again, nothing else is happening. So they go down in the creepy basement, which is what they call it. They go down the creepy basement, and it's just myself and then 2 other people up in kind of the game room. We're trying to see if we can ask questions. We have our EMF detector. We're still not really getting, a ton of stuff. They're getting nothing in the basement. So we do a switch. I decide that since our REM pod was going a little crazy when we were upstairs, when Chelsea walked into the bar, maybe I go downstairs with just Chelsea. So Chelsea and I go downstairs. I have her sit in a chair. She's got the EMF detector. It's not doing anything. The EMF detector is not making any, no, it's not doing anything. It's not lighting up. I said, okay, well, if we think it's Jack, maybe we just see if we can talk to him. So I have Chelsea, maybe ask Jack if he's here, whatever you want to say to him. So she starts talking to Jack, and the thing goes crazy. It's going crazy. And I'm on a TikTok live. I'm trying to record this on a TikTok live, which of course, at the time when I'm trying to get this TikTok live, Luke, who's watching from home at 4 a.m, is messaging, and he is it's lagging really bad. And this is all happening at once. So the EMF detector is going off. Chelsea gets hit by a wave of emotion. She just starts crying. She is just overtaken by like this emotion. And it wasn't like sadness. It was more of just, she was just so emotional. And then the EMF detector would stop. So I'm like, okay, let's keep talking, and it did it again. And I'm like trying to move around because I'm like trying to make sure that it's not like, I don't know, me that's setting it off, anything like that. And it wasn't. But at the same time, our TikTok live is lagging and all of these things are kind of happening. And then somebody else who was upstairs starts walking down the stairs and they say, we have stuff going on upstairs. So we're like, okay, let's go upstairs. So we go upstairs and they had moved the REM pod. So it's back by where the pool table and stuff in that game room area. And we had a spirit box, and one of the other people that was with us was trying to talk. Now, this was while we were downstairs. He was trying to talk to the spirit box, and, we're getting nothing. Nothing's going on in the REM pod. Nothing's going off on the spirit box. And suddenly, for some weird reason, he just decided to start singing to the spirit box, which then the REM pod goes off. So he's like, okay, do you like music? So they decide to start playing some music. And then the REM pod starts making, it starts lighting up and all of those things. And we're like, okay, well, this is very interesting. But it wouldn't do it all the time. So like certain songs would come on and it would just stop. We're like, okay, well, you don't like that song, apparently. And then you put another song on. And so I'm like, okay, well, let's test this because I don't know if, maybe the music is setting the REM pod off or whatever. Like, let's just see if we turn the music off and just try to talk at this point. Let's do that. So that's what we did. And so it was a live. So somebody in the comments was like, well, have them, ask questions, blink once for yes, blink twice for no. And so that's what we did. And so we said, are you Jack? Jack, is this you? Whatever. And it blinked once. And it was like there and everybody saw it. And of course, again, at the same time, TikTok live, it was lagging. So of course it was. Anyway, so we do still have to, we had our camcorder and all of that on. We still have to look over that footage and see if we caught anything on our footage, but I don't know. We'll have to get back to everybody on that. But it was very interesting. We didn't have, as many experiences as we had hoped, but at the same time, we had some interesting experiences. And at the end of the day, I know that Chelsea, who is the owner of the bar, felt a little bit more comfortable with the idea of it possibly being Jack. That was the person that was in. We also made the joke, what an ironic, or I guess a weird prank that would be if Jack the skeptic came back and was now the spirit haunting the bar, but very well could be. So it was very interesting for sure.
Yeah. I've never heard of that place, like as far as the list of haunted places in Wisconsin. So
and I don't really know like much history about it. That was the other weird thing, is like we were trying to find any kind of history we could about the bar, but apparently it's been, according to everyone who's worked there or a bunch of the bartenders, and it's haunted and they have strange occurrences. And Luke, when I interviewed him, he had a bunch of, disembodied voices or footsteps, or, he did say at one point that he was scratched, the different things like that. So, people in that, but Barron is a very small town too. Mm-hmm. It is a very small town. So I don't know. It's very interesting though.
Yeah, definitely. That's cool. Sounds like you did have quite a bit of activity actually.
Yeah, I was like, it's one of those things though, because we don't want to go in there and just say, okay, we're going to catch something. You want to go in there and say, well, we could catch something. Mm-hmm. and always know that it doesn't, even though, you have something happen, like an EMF detector going off, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a haunting. You have to try to you have to try to debunk things too, and be like, well, it could be this, That's why I was like, well, with the REM pod, could it be the music that's setting it off? Mm-hmm. So.
Not that I know of. I've seen. Well, it depends on how you're playing the music.
Yeah, that's
If
what I.
you have like very bass speakers and like a good like surround sound bar speaker system, you could vibrate it enough to get that. But if you're just playing music on your phone or something, it's not going to do it. Yeah.
And that's what. So of course, that was one of the things I looked up afterwards. So I'm like, well, I mean, because how often are you playing music on a ghost hunt? I don't, probably not ever. I wouldn't think. But in this case, I was like, let's make sure like that this is not something that would be setting it off. And it wasn't like we were, playing from big amps or big speakers. It was definitely on an iPhone, So
yeah, that definitely shouldn't do it.
And then we turned it off just to make sure. Because I'm like, let's make sure that we turn the music off and see if we still get stuff. And we were. So we had some things.
Yeah, sounds like it. That's good too, that you're able to debunk it and test it and stuff, and not just jump to conclusions and that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. From I do a lot of tech stuff, and I teach a whole program on tech and stuff, and it doesn't seem like music shouldn't interfere with your REM pod. Like I said, big speakers can. We've done some bar investigations and stuff like that, and with the music and stuff can set off like EMF and stuff, but it's more like the vibration than the actual music itself has the issue with it. So
yeah,
definitely not an iPhone wouldn't. So
so there's that.
Very cool. Lee, again, would like to know, have you ever had a cryptid experience? You talked about your Ozark Howler and your Beast of Bray Road. Have you ever seen anything or had anything?
No, I have not. So I have had ghost experiences, but I have not had a cryptid experience. However, I am one of those people that I very much believe in Bigfoot. I think that Bigfoot's real. I don't think the Loch Ness monsters, that one I'm like, okay, I can kind of, but Bigfoot, I do believe. I would love to go to where the Mothman, and now I'm drawing a blank. But yes, I want to go there. Point Pleasant, yes. It took a minute. Yeah, I have not, but I would love to go to Bray Road as well. And see. I mean, the one thing I'm like, we're not super far. We could go check it out, and I would love to do that. So no cryptid experiences, but lights in the sky. I've seen some weird lights. I used to live in the country, so like, you'd be out there. And, what is that? What is that? Like, it's just sitting there, or you've seen some strange things, but no Bigfoot, not yet.
You're actually very close to a historic Mothman location over on the the west side of Wisconsin. There along the river is it Tripolo Mountains or Tripolo? Yeah, back a long time ago. There was several sightings of actually multiple Mothman type creatures flying around those mountains.
I think that now that you mention that, I think I remember that. Let's go check it out.
Yeah.
Game.
My team has not gotten over there yet. I discovered that after we had done the Mothman episodes and that. So, yeah.
Oh, that'd be so fun. See, that's the thing about, and I think that's why Gabriel and I work so well together is we're literally like, let's go see it. Let's go check it out. Let's go investigate these things. Like, we came back from Paracon. We're like, let's do some more. Like, we're just all about it. We're like, as much as we can do and as far as we can travel, we're always interested and investigating for sure. So I know, actually Elmwood,
UFO days.
Yeah. Well, we were there last year. Hopefully we'll be there this year, but it's a big hot spot for aliens as well. So we're planning on maybe going out there and checking it out and seeing what we can find in the sky in Elmwood as well.
It is one of the 3 UFO capitals of Wisconsin.
Yes.
Yep,
he
yep.
used to live out there actually, and he's had some experiences with that as well. So
And they're still having stuff go on there, so it's still pretty active out there.
well, and you don't get any Wi-Fi or anything. You have no signal on your phone in that
Yeah,
town.
that too. Yeah,
It's wild. Yeah.
absolutely. Well, we are coming up here on the end of the show, so if you guys have any last minute things to throw in the comments section, put them in there, and we will get to them before we wrap up here. Otherwise, tell everyone where they can find your podcast and anything else, anywhere you're going to come up and be, and anywhere they can meet you in person, all that fun stuff.
Oh boy. Okay. We'll start with, you can find us actually, we are on darkwoods.paranormal.com. That is our main website. You can find all of our episodes on darkwoods.paranormal.com. However, we are also on iHeartRadio, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. We have a YouTube channel as well. I'm working on adding some more stuff to that. So when we do our interviews that we're going to post a lot of that stuff on our YouTube channel, as well as on our, so we'll have a video and an audio version of that. But actually tomorrow we are headed to Milwaukee for Milwaukee Horror Con. And we've told everyone that if you stop by our booth, we're booth number 1 at the Milwaukee Horror Con. We will give you a free t-shirt, Darkwoods Paranormal t-shirt, Darkwoods. We have a cow getting abducted by an alien. Yes. Come check us out. So Milwaukee Horror Con, it's all 3 days. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then after that, we will be headed to the Haunted Galena Conference in Galena, Illinois. That is the first weekend of April. And that's going to be at the DeSoto Hotel in Illinois, which is one of the most haunted hotels in the country. Unfortunately, we couldn't investigate that place, but I will be able to talk to Robin and Ted, who own the hotel. So they're going to sit down and do an interview with me about their hotel. And then after that, that's April. So that puts us to May. So we'll be at CapCon with you guys. Can't wait to be there. It's actually funny. So Chad Lewis, he used to do a talk show up at Wolf 108. And I used to work at Wolf 108 for a summer. And so he had a paranormal talk show, and I would always stay around. And this was in the Banbury place, which is extremely haunted. And he would do this paranormal show up there. So I always hung out and listened to him do that. So I've known him for a long time. But so that would be CapCon in May, and hopefully UFO days at the end of July, and whatever else we can find. Again, like I said, we're looking for more stuff, more conventions, and we have more investigations hopefully coming up, and also a lot of interviews, especially I'm really excited about Dustin Perry's interview, which, like I said, I'm going to interview him next week. And so that will be up whenever I can get it up. The joys
Dustin's awesome.
Editing and
he's been on my show a couple times. So.
Oh, he is the nicest person. He is the nicest person ever. When you meet people, you don't always know if they're going to be how they're going to be, but he's so genuine, so kind. And he was having, and I told him this, but he was having the worst day, and you just knew it because he had 4 delayed flights coming in. He was just in a rush. And
always has bad flights.
He does. If you follow his stuff, it's always like a delayed flight and missing bags. And I just went up to him and I said, I just want you to know that you have been so kind and genuine to everyone who's come up to your booth, and shaking hands and giving hugs, and just the sweetest human, when he could have been I'm having a terrible day, but he wasn't. So, yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the better people that we've met on the road and stuff. Like you said, very, very genuine, and he's talks about how he was the most hated person on Ghost Hunters, and everyone thought he was this jerk and stuff because he wore his hat backwards and his stupid mesh jersey and all this stuff, and they thought he was just this dick, and how he had people wait in line for an hour to get to his booth just to tell him how much he hated him.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, that is
and
terrible.
he is legit one of the nicest people in the ghost hunting world out there. So
he really is.
Really great guy.
Yeah.
Anne agrees with us. He's definitely one of the best.
He is.
Absolutely. All right. Well, you are a very busy person as well with all of your stuff coming up and all your conventions and that. And you're going on the road and I'm taking a break. So there you go. That's what we're gonna do. We'll switch. You go do the convention circuit for a while, and I'm gonna go hit the woods. So
Oh, good. No, that seems like that's a fair trade. I love that for you.
There you go.
Yeah, you let me know if you find anything out there.
Oh, definitely.
Okay, good.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate your time today and sharing your stories and all your experiences and stuff. So,
Well, thank you for having me on. And I'm sure that Gabriel wishes he could be here as well, but he's a very busy person. So
I know the feeling.
This is my lunch break. So here we are.
And I also want to thank you again for being a sponsor of CapCon this year. So,
of course. We can't wait. Actually, I'm super excited.
It should be a great event. It's all of our vendor spaces are full. We just sold out the Friday night hike, so it's going to be a big event. So
I love that. Oh, it's gonna be so fun.
Absolutely. Very cool. All right. Well, that is our show for this week. If anybody's looking forward to your show and missed it or anything, we have it in the show notes. Click on it wherever you're watching or listening the show today. It is links in there for that. I believe we have your Darkwoods Paranormal podcast as well as the Facebook page are in there for anybody that's looking for it. So head on over and check that out. And you're also looking for stories. If anyone is interested in sharing their stories, to email or send them to you as well. And that information is in the show notes as well for you guys.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, send us your stories. If you have something or, a story, we want to hear it. We always are looking for stories. So
very cool.
Send them over.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to seeing you again in May and probably out there on the road quite a bit as well, it sounds like. So I feel like our paths will cross several times coming up here. So
I love that for us.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I will talk to you later.
All right. Thank you, Barnaby.
Yep. Have a good day.
You too.
Alrighty, guys, that is our show. As Lee pointed out at the beginning of the show, we are coming up here on the 50th episode of the Paranormal Spectrum. That's coming up April 4th. We are having a big event here. It is going to be a panel of all kinds of psychics and mediums joining us to answer all of your burning questions. So that is going to be an awesome show. It is going to be live on April 4th. And the Monday of that week is also the 100th episode of Monsters on the Edge. So both episodes will air the same week. Going to be a great week for the beginning of April. But that is all the show we got here for today. So until next time, guys, remember, we are all part of the Paranormal Spectrum. Take care, be well, and I'll see you next week.
You seem to know something I don't. What's going on?